What is that? Yeah, that's stupid. But yeah, no, praise Yah, praise the King, praise Yeshua, praise Jesus. Happy Sabbath, man. Man, nah, bro. I really be having an issue with people. It's hard not to. I was about screaming like that. My friend, why you not screaming look like that? Why you look like that? But yeah, nah, man. I mean, people really piss me off. That's a way to start it. Nah, people really irritate me at times. I don't get it. And I think what bothers me the most is I see what they be doing, right? And it's all like weird little mind control games that doesn't make sense. And I be trying to figure out the nerve, like where these people be, where people be getting off with all this uh, control, because that's what it be. It be control, be control issues. I mean, yeah, man, it really irks me, you know. Well, there's so many people that I don't know, man. It's almost like they it's almost like these spirits don't match their body, but then it does. I just don't necessarily understand it. Yeah, I don't understand it. And then it's they talk about like when you're talking about revelation, right? When you're talking about revelation, and we're talking about like the end, and all these things are gonna happen. What's what's really to happen besides it happening? Because I mean, only a certain amount of people are really gonna be like all right with it. And a lot of people aren't gonna be all right with it. They're not, because you know, I was talking to my daughter about. Uh, we were just talking about the Bible, and we started talking about like the rapture and like how will we know, or not the rapture, but just Revelation, and how will we know like when it's gonna be when it's gonna go on. And she was like, "Oh well, I'm scared," and I was like, "Yeah, there's no reason to be scared. You're protected by the blood. As long as we're doing what we're supposed to do, as in seeking Him, we'll be all right. You don't have to worry about that." But now, what he does say is for the pregnant that he hopes it doesn't come uh, in the winter, and any woman that's breastfeeding or pregnant, because that's just saying like how hard it's gonna be, and then like nobody knows but the father. There's just gonna be well, buckle up, and that's just kind of gonna be it. There ain't gonna be no there ain't gonna be no rain and stuff like that. Like it's like the Euphrates River. Like that thing's been drying up for a minute now. You know, and it's there. And then we just have this such a split in America, man. Like they got this white dude right on that I be watching on his he be having shorts on Facebook, and he's got a front tooth missing out, and he moved from Alaska. Like he lived in the woods out there with his family, and they moved I think to Texas. And he was talking about the eclipses, how when they eclipse and the path of the eclipse, how it um, it shifts like the plates, and there's always something that happens in that area of where the eclipse goes over. And it was so when I moved to Alaska and when I lived in Anchorage, I had walked on this trail, and it was right past downtown, and it had this little memorial like fact thing, and I was reading it, and it was talking about a big eclipse that happened in Anchorage in like the '60s, and they said half of downtown broke off. So there's a rock out there, like in the water. If you're at the edge of downtown, you can see a like a weird rock out there. They called it like something mermaid, and that's where downtown reached out to. So if you were to go out there and you were to like be able to go in the water, you would see like buildings and stuff. And I guess it just when the earthquake happened, like Anchorage just fell off into the water. And I guess there was the eclipse that went over Anchorage, and something about the eclipse and going over the paths, it shifts the whatever plates that are under the ground that cause earthquakes, and that we haven't these last eclipses that have made an X, or the next one is supposed to make like complete an X over America. And I mean that's kind of concerning. I mean I thought that was concerning back then, and that was like my my fiance. She works for a construction company, and she got a picture of the moon, of the blood moon. And when I say the moon was red, that was this last blood moon was like the reddest moon I've ever seen in my life. The pictures that she has is it's pure red, and I mean it had me freaking out. Um, but I mean that's like the only thing that's like really concerning is, yeah, the stuff is going to be scary, but I mean as long as you're like protected by the blood and you're seeking his face and all these things, like you'll be all right. But there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like not knowing what to do, and that's the big concern, because it talks about like a man being, I want to say like on the roof and not going back to it, like being on his roof and not going back into his house for his stuff. And it talks about like people being other places than not going back to where they were. And then Jesus had brought up Lot and his wife looking back at I want to say it was Sodom. It was either Sodom or Gomorrah, one of the two. And she turned to a pillar of salt, and it's because she tried to turn back. It wasn't that she looked back; she tried to go back. And that's like in tribulation, we're not gonna have nothing. It's gonna be what we have on our person. Like that's gonna be it. So I mean, that's ugly. I mean, it's gonna be like a weird situation because like it talks about like fleeing into the woods. Is that like fleeing from the beast and like all those people? But there's really not no woods, where I'm at. And yeah, I mean that's why I try not to think about it. because like I try not to go like too deep into it because there's no level of understanding I think that we could have when it comes to Revelations. And then it talks about there'll be two people like in a bed, and then there'll be two people in a field, and like like two people at like a wine press or something like that. They're two people are always doing something, and one is gone. They don't say they disappear. It says they're gone, pretty much. And I'm just paraphrasing, but then he goes and talks about the eagles will be where the body is, and the translation for eagles is vultures. So, do their souls leave, and their bodies are left here, and that's why the vultures are here? Like, that's what I'd be thinking about because and I had talked to my fiance about this because there'd be two people, one's gone, but then there's vultures. So is it their soul just leaving? Like, are they just getting, and the vultures are, consuming the body? I don't know, man. That's where I'd be thinking, man. And then, it's pretty much the world's gonna be dealing with it. Like, the world's gonna be dealing with tribulation and all those things. And my daughter was like, "Oh, I'm scared." Well, you don't need to be scared. I was scared when I was in the world, and when I knew I wasn't living right. Like, that's why I was scared. I was like, "Yeah, I'll never want it to start. Hopefully it never starts. Hopefully I'm gone by then." But you know, now I'm really not tripping on it. But when I was in the world, yes, I never wanted to hear no trumpets. But then I try not to say I don't think because we're not supposed to like do that. I don't want anybody to confuse what I'm saying and think that this is what scripture is. This is just a thought, and that's what's dangerous. We're not supposed to put our opinions out into the world like that. But I think the trumpets are not necessarily the actual sound of a trumpet, but it is just a kind of like a checkbox. Like, okay, yeah, that's for sure one. That's for sure one. But it's for if you have an ear, hear. And then if you're in the world and you don't have a relationship with God, then that's going to be something else. You know, it's kind of what it is. I mean, I don't think people should worry about it. Now, if you're not with God, then that's why I'd be kind of understanding why people don't want to hear it because people be scared. But if you're worried about it and you don't think God, you shouldn't have nothing to be scared about. But if you have this, if you have this God, right? Because everybody has some form of God in their life. But if you have the God, right? And there's millions of stories of what God has done for people, like actual people, right? Why wouldn't you bank and try? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people haven't hit their bottom or they haven't got to that spot where nothing works for them. Because, yeah, I mean, I got to a point where I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. And I mean, that was granted. Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't. Yeah, no, I was at a bottom. I for sure was at a bottom. I didn't think that was a bottom that I expected, but yeah, literally my bottom was I was on a mattress on the ground, and I felt my first withdrawal off opiates. That was my bottom, and I just looked around like, what am I doing? And that was it. I just kind of looked around like, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be here. What am I doing? And yeah, I mean, at that point, I prayed, And yeah, I mean, from that point, my life has gotten nothing but better. Um, yeah, man. Praise the Lord. Yeah, I'm off drugs. Off Suboxone. Got my daughter back. Got me a two-bedroom apartment. My mom is no longer an alcoholic. I got a, you know, beautiful fiance. Uh, the date I think is September 27th, something like that. I gotta talk to her about it. She had dropped a date on me, but there's so many other things, and that's all glory to God, like all of it, because it's not me. There's no way I could have did any of those things. Like that's like my mom. I, I prayed for that for years. For years, I prayed for my mom to get sober. Granted, the way she got sober was not expecting it. She weaned herself off, and alcohol. I don't know if you guys know, but alcoholics, when they drink so long, if they just stop drinking or don't drink enough, they have seizures. And that's exactly what happened. She dried out and had a seizure. Praise the Lord, my dad was just getting there and got her to the hospital. And yeah, I didn't see her for, I want to say, like the first like 2 days because I was like terrified. And my sister was like, "Hey, you need to go up there and see her." I went up there, broke me down. Yo, broke me. I left and I got home and I was praying. I prayed that she, you know, come back. Because I was scared. I was terrified. Um, and I went up there the next day, and and everybody was saying like how bad she was and like all that stuff. And I went up there the next day, and it was just me and her in there, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm done." And I was like, "You're done? You're done what?" She was like, I'm done." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then she started just talking, and everything was clear. Like I can understand everything she was saying. And when she said she was done, I dig it. Like that was I'm done. I'm done. Can't nobody make nobody do nothing. They have to be done. And I mean, I never had a relationship with my mom. Like, I mean, I did when I was a kid, and then that got kind of pushed to the back. But I mean, I got her now. Like when I needed her the most. I mean, granted, yeah, my young life was just rough, but like I said, God has done everything. Like it's a beautiful thing. Like, and I don't think people don't give God a big enough chance. If you call out to Jesus, He gonna do it. Period. He gonna do it. There's nothing else to it. He's gonna do it. It might not be instant. Like I think people be thinking He's like a genie and things like that. Nah, you seek His face, everything will be given to you. Everything. Ask for it. I forgot. I just listened to the verse, but it was. I want to say it's in all the four gospel, 4 books. Um, what is it? It's gonna irritate me. He talks about like if a son asks his father for some bread, would he give him like a snake or something like that? And he says like he's saying like for your kid to ask you for something, you give him something foul. What would be the difference in you asking the Lord? If you ask the Lord for something, He's gonna give it to you. Period. Especially if you were seeking His face. Like I tell you, when I did like the 12 steps or the 10 steps, whatever they call that, with like AA, I did that with God. Like I didn't even know I was doing it. But granted, I need to do it with a human. But I for sure did it with God in this bed right here, crying, snotting, all the things. Called people, was apologizing to them, for being a dirt bag when I was, a dirt bag. All kinds of stuff. Um, but it's been a lot of healing. Like that's been my thing, dealing with my shame and guilt from when I got in trouble. because that was something that I carried for a long time. Like, like making jokes about it, stuff like that. But that was just to kind of cover up shame and, those kind of things. But shame and guilt is one thing that the enemy will forever use because it works on us, especially if we're not constantly with the Lord. Because our brains are constantly going. So if our if our brain is not constantly with seeking the Lord, we have time to go elsewhere, and our flesh is always messed up. It is. Um, yeah, I had a big issue with that for a long time because the devil's constantly in my ear. Oh well, you can't make it to heaven because of this. You can't do it. You don't deserve it. All these things. So in my mind, I was really believing that I couldn't make it to heaven because of what I did. And no, building a relationship with the Lord and then reading the Bible, and I look at the things. Just look at if you look at the men of the Bible, right? Especially David. I always go back to David. If you look at David, and when he talks about all the people, all the times that he went to war, he would kill thousands and thousands of people, right? And this is going out like with a sword and like doing the things like close and personal. This is what I'm doing. And then he had one of his mans killed for his wife. And it's like, he was still favored by the Lord. And when I think about my situation, it's like that's one incident. And, why should I beat up on myself this bad? Or how can I be tricked this well into believing that I can't make it somewhere? And my God is the healer and the redeemer and all these beautiful, terribly awesome things, right? Like, and they always talk about coming as you are, and I think people take that and they use that for church, right? Come as you are, and that's like a church thing. No, that is going to the altar. That is wherever you pray to the Lord at, that secret place, that altar, which is in here, no matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you are. Come to him dirty, exactly how you are. Does not matter. Does not matter. We're all full of sin. Um, yeah, confess all your things. All your worries and all your fears, all of your sins that you're doing. And that's the hard part is being honest with yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. And then you feel so little, but that's why he says, "Come to me as a child," because when we feel, I mean, as an adult, right? We feel prideful. We feel all these things, which we're not supposed to be prideful. Um, but it is hard to come to the Lord as a child and confessing all of the things that is wrong and the things that you want to change. That's the hard part, is being honest, and for those words to come out of your mouth is hard. It truly is. That's why I'm kind of glad I'm like past that. Granted, shame and guilt though, that'll make you like back up from the Lord. It really will. That's where I'm kind of like, like right now. But I've been getting better. Like I really haven't been running from him that much. Because I mean that's all it is. Like he never turns his face. We turn our face. He don't. He don't do it. I be talking to my daughter, right? Because my daughter has like this weird attitude thing, and and when I talk to her, everything that I'm saying are like, oh well, you just need to listen. You just need to do the things that I'm telling you, and stop talking back. Stop. There's no reason to be difficult. And everything that I'm telling her, it just feels like the Lord is just standing right here, just looking down at me, like, oh, you telling her this. This is your kid. Well, you're my kid, and you're grown. You really know better, and you're not listening. So I just be thinking it's funny. I had to like break down and really tell my daughter that, like, you know, it's funny because you be asking like, where should I read in the Bible? For some reason, I was telling her to start at Matthew, and I told her this for like 2 days, and I was like, I'm gonna start reading Matthew. Yo, Matthew, it's got some gems in it. Actually, like the whole New Testament. So far I'm on Luke. I think I'm on Luke 20, but I mean, granted, they all are kind of the same, but they all change just a little bit because they're in different perspectives. And I started reading it, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm like, I was talking to my daughter. I was like, maybe it wasn't for you. Maybe it was for me. But I'm like, you should still read it too, because you don't know where to start at. And then like she be wanting to hear stuff from the Lord and all that, but I'm like, it's obedience. That's how you're gonna hear the Lord, is obedience and quieting your mind. You can't have anger in your heart and be upset and all this stuff. You can't do that and expect to be able to hear the Lord clearly. It's I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's gonna be hard because you have to be able to calm your mind. And the Lord's voice is very quiet. It's very, very quiet. And I mean, I can feel the spirit, but it's very, I don't know how to explain that neither. It's more on the inside, and it's like up here, and like, yeah, I don't know. Say I was to take a towel and just like wrap it around my shoulders, that, or your shoulders, that's what the Holy Spirit like feels like. Hello. Well, that's what the Holy Spirit feels like, but not just. It's almost like a tingle, hug thing. I don't know how to explain it. And then when when God talks, um, the average person, I'm pretty good, praise the Lord. But when you think in your head, you can hear your voice, right? And like we're just talking to yourself or whatever, figuring out a plan, math problem, whatever. You can hear your own voice. To me, what the Lord sounds like is my voice, but the softest, kindest voice that I can't imitate. I can't repeat it. Like there's no way. there's That's like if I never smoked and I was just raised by monks or something. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like the softest, kindest voice, but I can't imitate it. That's the thing. And it's never long neither. It's always. And then he's funny. He's funny. That's another thing. I remember one time, my girl had left work, and then her phone her phone wasn't off, but it was just she didn't call me when she got home from work, and I was just kind of tripping. And that was the only time that I ever not doubted her or like had any form of like concern, but it just made me like feel uneasy, right? And I heard the enemy. The enemy is more my voice, but it repeats itself, which it's really weird. But it tends to, the enemy repeats itself at least 2 times. and I forgot what he said, but he said something twice, and then I'm just like, I'm kind of like going in my head, and the Lord was just like, call her. So I called her. She was cool. She was home, and I was like, "Oh, bet." But it's little stuff like that. It's the little things, and yeah, man, it's really different when you can understand the difference, and that's why like I've had weird, like really weird dreams. Well, one for sure, super creepy. I ain't gonna get all the way into it, but it was just a really odd dream, and I like I like passed out in the dream. I've never done that in a dream, but I passed out. I've never passed out in real life. I've gotten lightheaded. I've been briefly knocked out, but besides that, nah. But I passed out in the dream twice, and I woke up, got to a location, and a Max driver pulled up because I got on like a bad Max with like a demon or something, and a Jamaican guy pulled up on the Max that I got off of, but that wasn't the original guy. And he opens up the door, and he's talking to me, and uh, he asked me if I was okay, and he asked me, "Am I humbled yet? Are you humbled yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." 'Cause when I tell you this thing was creepy, now I gotta explain it. So I get on the Max that's like sideways, and I like jump in the Max because either way, I'm on the Max. That's not even. I'm get to the scary part. I'm sitting behind the conductor, but I'm like on the side. The conductor is like to the side, and then there's a glass panel. Yo, what I tell you, I'm like 15 feet behind me. He sticks his arm around the glass, and his arms are like super long, and he's like doing this on the ground, like towards me, like trying to like touch me. Yo, and he tried to do it with both arms. Passed out. Passed out in the dream. I woke up, right? He's outside. He's outside of the thing, and the door is open. Mind you, in my dream, I had one of my guns because that's what started it. I fell in the cart, and then my gun fell out, and I picked it up, and I walked out, and I had a bag in there. He was like, "You gonna come get your bag?" And I went inside, and he closed the door, so I was kind of like just screwed. And yeah, anyways, I passed out. I come to, he's outside of the Max, and he's like dancing. He's like taunting me outside of the van or outside of the Max, and pass out again. I wake up. I'm at the end of a Max line. That's like super far out, tree line. Now I just start walking. But either way, that dream was weird, and yeah, it was really odd, really odd. Um, but yeah, the are you humble yet? That part right there is what throws me off because I've never heard uh, the Lord's voice in any other voice but mine. But I don't see the enemy saying saying that. Now I see the first driver, the driver that was trying to get me with his when I was trying to kill me or grab me or whatever it was. And that's the thing. I had my gun on me the whole time. There was no thinking of shooting this guy. Nothing. I promise you. When I said I was scared, bro, that's how I knew it was something. It was something different. That's how I knew it was like something on some demonic stuff because there was no shooting. Nothing. I wasn't even thinking about touching my gun. That was fear. And I think what made it worse is I was locked in the Max. That was the scary part. That part was terrifying. I ain't gonna lie. I can't hold you. Being trapped somewhere in a in real life or in a dream is like one of the scariest things to me. And I don't even think I'm claustrophobic. But yeah, yeah. There's been just a lot of. I've noticed that too. That's kind of slowed down the demonic attacks. I see that kind of goes to my. I feel like that trickles down to my family, like my immediate family. Um, and I think it's trying to break the generational curses. I think that has something to do with it. But I kind of feel like it's slowed down because I'm not necessarily where I'm supposed to be with the Lord right now. But I mean, I'm getting there. It's rough. And that'd be the thing is I'm honest with myself and I'm honest with other people. Like, you know, what can you do besides try? Just that's why I say all the time that the flesh sucks. And then like trying to really not balance, but to put God before everything else. Because I had just talked to my fiance about that. That I don't want to put her and our family before God. I don't want to do that because that's not what we're supposed to do. Like a lot of people, you hear that and be like, "What do you mean?" Nah, that's God comes first before everything. And then that's another thing too. Like there was a point in my walk where the things of this world do not matter, and all of this stuff is temporary. We can't take none of this stuff. Like this stuff is temporary. And with my walk, it was very interesting because I did get to a point where none of this stuff mattered. Like if I were to die at that moment, I felt all the way secure, like all the way fine with dying because I don't have to deal with this no more. Granted, that sounds crazy, but is it really crazy when and yeah, it's crazy because every prayer I am crying. I'm crying like not from no shame, but just from the presence of God. And a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. People think, oh, what are you talking about? But I mean, that is a thing. That's a big thing. Um, Now I can't speak in no tongues or nothing, but you know, in time, uh, yeah, no, it's a lot of crazy things. You know, I would just try to be better, man. And it's I don't think I give myself enough grace when it comes to where I am with my walk or right now. And yeah, man, the flesh just be fleshing, you know. That's what it do. It just we're naturally rebellion. Like we want to rebel against everything. I don't understand that, but I do. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That is crazy. How difficult we are. Like no wonder why he was always trying to kill us in the Old Testament. Man, we stupid. We stupid, man. Yeah, I don't know how many people have read the Old Testament, but I tell you, the Old Testament, man, the Lord was like, man, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Move, Moses. I'm gonna kill him. I'm I'm gonna kill them. They stupid. They stiff neck. I'm tired of these stiff neck people. Nah, that's a real thing. That's crazy. That is wild. And it's crazy, like with all the things too. Like I think that's what I'm really gonna talk to him about tomorrow. Is thank him for all the things that he like watched over me with, because that'd be the thing is we be forgetting about Egypt. We in the promised land, we just here, and it's not even over. But we get comfortable in whatever place that we're in. But we can't just be comfortable and stop. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be thinking about all kinds of stuff, and you know the testing spirits by the spirit, all testing people's fruit and things like that. And it's just like, man, why are y'all like that? Why are we like this? And then I'm like, I just be like, man, I feel like everybody's possessed. I feel like I got something floating around in here, man. Well, not really, but that lust, yeah, I feel like that might be something. That might be something. Because, man, I tell you, lust is something different. That is something different. And it's weird because also boxing, right? I feel like getting off Suboxone, I feel like it's more me. I feel like when I was on Suboxone, it was like just like kind of like a blanket that just kind of covered like all my emotions. But now that I'm not on it and it's like all the way gone, I'm feeling myself. Like this is me, which is not good. I mean, granted, yeah, I mean, I was lustful before, but now it's like times like 7, maybe 5. I don't know. It's either way, it's bad. It's bad. And yeah, I just be honest. I'll be on here talking. I just be honest because I don't mind. I'll bite. Uh, yeah, man, it's ugly work. I don't know why the flesh is so fleshy, man. I don't get it. I tell you, it's hard to fight it. It really is. Not lust, but just being a a good steward, I guess. It's rough, man. But what makes me happy though is as much as they talk about Jesus and stuff like that in the Bible, and he's always with street people. That's who he was with. He was always with the sick. And the sick is such a huge array of people. You know, there's people that were actually sick. They couldn't walk. They were lame. People that were mute. They casted out demons. All these things. Then we had prostitutes, thieves, tax collectors. All just criminals and street people. And I think that's the most interesting part about Jesus, and they don't. I don't know. It's almost like they don't like take that as what that is. Well, just people, and they don't talk about the Pharisees that much. And I'm talking about kind of just like everybody. Like Pastor Brandon will, he will. He'll talk about the Pharisees, scribes and stuff. But a lot of other people don't. But I think it's because they kind of got some Pharisee in them, you know. And it's like, man, bro, the whole time they was really trying to kill Jesus, the whole time. And it's like they killed John the Baptist because I think they was thinking that he was Jesus. And yeah, man, it's I don't know. Nothing can be good. Anything that's good, we have to destroy it or mess it up or pervert it or something. We got to do something to it. It can't just be what it is. I mean, I think about how I was, and I mean that's all I did. That's all I did was pervert things and ruin them or destroy them or attempt to. Uh, yeah, yeah. That's that's weird. I mean, now I don't though. Well, I haven't in a long time. I haven't tried to just. Well, actually, I'd say from like 2021, 22, I didn't want to destroy anything anymore. But thinking about I was talking to somebody the other day. I can't remember who I was talking to about like not unaliving, but the way I lived my life, like back back when I was walking in darkness, I was I had that state of mind, not wanting to do it to myself, but whatever decision I made, if that were to happen, it didn't matter. So I did have that state of mind of, you know, that. So I mean, it's kind of unalivable, but yeah, that's crazy. I don't see how I live like that. I don't see how anybody lives like that. It's hard to understand it now. Now that I have such like a different understanding of life and just caring for things completely different. Because granted, yeah, I mean, I still get my moods and you know get agitated with things, but it's not a. I want to use violence on people like I once did, because yeah, that was the thing for a long time. Where if it was any form of conflict, it was conflict, and yeah, I mean, I didn't really care. I kind of did, but a little bit. Yeah, man. No, it's very interesting. Just looking at where I've ended up being. Yeah, it's very interesting because I didn't think I was going to. It's a trip, man. I didn't think I was going to make it to. I didn't think I was going to make it to 18. Made it to 18. Didn't think I was going to make it to 21. Made it to 21. Then was fighting a murder case at 21. Then had a baby at 22. Boy, I was on a roll. I was I was gambling, man. I was gambling. But no, I mean, once I had my daughter, that really did help my life in so many ways. It showed me that I could be a father. and a good father. Uh, oh, dad. But I mean, I always knew I was gonna be a good dad though. Because my dad wasn't there, and then I mean, I always vowed to never leave my kids. So then there's that. I don't see how people have broken homes and leave their kids. Like, how do you not have your dad there and then have kids and then leave your kids? That sounds crazy to me. That sounds so crazy. I can't. I've never been able to understand that. It is wild because the only ones that I really seen that had really together like families were my grandparents. Well, and my mom and dad after. Well, actually, I would say now, more now, because my mom's sober. My dad's been sober for a while, but now that my mom's sober, I see the true like wife and husband like unity. Granted, my mom was still there, like drunk, but it's a different kind of it's a different dynamic, and it's a trip because my fiance is she's a lot like my mom. Like, it's weird. It's really really weird. I didn't really yeah, it's really weird. And then yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange seeing them together, like how my mom is and how uh how my girl is, how they are together. It's very interesting because they're so much alike, but my mom's more reserved. I think I don't know, but my mom called her daughter-in-law, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, she knows it's for real. She likes her. That was never a thing. I didn't think my mom was not gonna like her. I knew my mom was gonna like her. I didn't know how much she was gonna like her, but my mom likes her a lot, and that's like the best thing that I could hope for. I remember one time, boy, I tell you, man, Mimi's a trip. So my baby mom, this is the worst story ever. This, this is what my baby mom wanted to meet my mom. This is after this is after my daughter was born. My daughter was, I don't know, one. Nah, she was older than one. She might have been like two. She was little. She was little. She wanted to meet my mom, right? So I keep telling her like, you don't want to meet her, and she was just like bugging me for like a week. And I'm like, all right, you want to meet me? Yeah, I want to meet her. Bet. So we go out to the house. Go out to my parents' house. I'm already talking to my dad like, this ain't gonna be good. This ain't gonna be good, bro. He like, well, she already here. Man, they in the kitchen. I can't remember what happened. I can't remember what happened. But my mom had said something. What did my mom say to her? I need to ask her. She said something like, if you hurt my son, I'm gonna hurt you, or something like that. Then I want to say she said that she didn't like her. My mom, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, Mimi, man, she's something else. So yeah, that's why I didn't bring nobody around Mimi. Yeah, I brought two girls around her before. Uh, Baby mom, I don't really count that. So only two, because they actually got to meet her, and my mom kind of liked them, but they knew they wasn't for me. Third time's a charm. But I already told my mom too though. Like the next woman I'm with, that's my wife. I'm not wasting time no more. You know, I don't. That's a lot. That's a lot of wasted time and trying to fill things out. And you know, it's funny because I got a coworker, and she be talking about like trying to meet somebody and all these things. And I'm like, just pray for her husband. Oh, well, I don't know if I'm ready. And okay, well, then you're not ready. You're clearly not ready. When I prayed for my fiance, I was 2 years celibate, and I don't know. One day I was just like, yeah, Lord, I want a wife. I can't remember how I asked. I can't remember how I asked, but I was like, Lord, I want a wife. I want a wife to love me for me and to love my daughter. That was it. I didn't ask for her to be pretty. I didn't ask for her to know how to make sourdough. I didn't ask for none of these things, right? And I'd say like a month later, I had a dream about my girl, and in the dream I was downtown here in Portland, and somebody from my past ran up to me and spoke to me, and they left, and then she came up, and she was in a like a pinup like dress suit, and she gave me a hug and asked me how I was doing and all the things. And then she like looked at a watch or like her phone or something, and was like, "Oh, I got a meeting." Um, she was like, "I'll see you later," and that was the end of the dream. Like a week after that, she had sent me a message on Facebook, and she had said something about my hair, like, "Oh, you cut your dreads off," and I was like, "Yeah." Left it at that, you know, because I don't know if that's just small conversation. I'm focused, waiting on my wife. A couple days after that, I want to say I prayed again, and I was like, Lord, when my wife is there, don't let me miss her. Like, make it very, very like in my face so I cannot miss her. And when I tell you, she had messaged again like within like a week or something, and we had started talking on the phone or like video chatting. And when I say she put everything on the table, she put everything on the table. Like, she was like, "Yeah, I want a man to do this. He needs to be able to do this. And as a wife, I would do this, and did all the right words, talking about being submissive and all these things. And I'm like, that doesn't even sound that doesn't even sound that sounds crazy. There's no way. And I mean, with all that being said, I've never heard anything like that. And I was just quiet. Like, I just sat there and listened to her because, you know, and then the goals, like, she wants land. I've never known any woman my age, and that's another thing. She's my age, a little bit younger than me, that wants land. Possibly more kids. Like, talked about, like, that's what I'm saying. This is like the first time we talked, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that came out the first time we talked. It was kind of just all on the table. That's what got me. I was like, oh yeah, she's the one. Uh, Sometime a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago by, you know, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, it I never had an experience like that of somebody talking so direct, and then I mean we're talking for like hours at a time, like not just hours, but like 8 hours, 6 hours, like yeah, that shit was crazy. Um, and then I asked the Lord if I was supposed to be with her, and like prayer, I got a message from her sister, and her sister was waiting for her to get picked up so she could go to the gym. And she just said, "Oh, well, my sister said she gonna marry me one day." And I was like, "Word." So I called my girl and I'm like, "Oh, you gonna marry me one day?" And she's like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Oh, bet." So time goes on. I think we're probably like 3 months in. Yeah, we're probably like 3 months in. And I asked the Lord, "Is she the is she the woman I'm supposed to marry?" And as I asked that, I get a message on Messenger, and it's her mom, and she was saying, "Oh yeah, I knew you guys would get back together and all this other stuff." So I mean, if that's not confirmation, like in both these messages, I got them like as soon as I say it in prayer. Like I get these messages right then, and I just continue my prayer and then look at the messages after. So I mean, if that's not confirmation, I don't know what confirmation is. Like that's the most direct that I think that I could get. And yeah, no, that not gonna miss her. So that's what I was saying. Like, if there's something that you want, ask the Lord, but He's not gonna give it to you unless you are ready for it, because He's not gonna give you anything that you're not gonna be able to hold and to keep. He's not, because that's another thing that I had read in the Bible last week. He won't put us to shame. He won't. He won't put his kids to shame. People that follow him, he's not doing it. Now, if we start to stray, that's something else. But as long as we seek him and his kingdom, we'll be all right. Praise the Lord. That's the big thing, is continuing to seek his face, because it's hard, because our flesh wants to do everything else, but spend time with him. It's terrible. Everything in this world is created so we don't seek his face. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But I mean, and then my wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, she is beautiful. Like, she makes sourdough bread. Like, there's so many things. There's so many things. Like, she wants animals. Matter of fact, she's on a women's retreat right now, and she just went to a barn, right? Or not a barn, but a farm that has 400 acres. I got a picture where she's holding a chicken. Like, yeah, bro. Like, yeah, I see it. Like, I see it. Like, all the things. Like, I almost put some money on a dang chunk of land that I would probably not go to maybe like a few times in my life, because it's in Southern Oregon. But I mean, I was thinking about it just to say I got land. Like, worst comes to worst, what? I got land. Let's use this as a down payment on something. I think it's like 200 a month. That's you do that. Stop buying bullets and buy some land. I think I'm kind of good on bullets. I need to start saving up. I gotta win to save up for. Ooh. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, next week is gonna be busy, man. I gotta get my dang ID, and I gotta get my daughter's social security card. Man, I can't wait for court to be done so I can change my daughter's name. Yeah, my daughter ain't even got my last name. That's wild. That's yeah. It's my baby mom. She has four kids, including my daughter. Right. Every kid has the dad's last name. My daughter is the only one that has their last name. Why would you give my kid your last name? And the excuse is the best, worst excuse ever. I didn't think that you were going to be around. Your other baby dads aren't around. What are you talking about? I always told you that I would never leave my baby. Now, I didn't say I wouldn't leave you. I said I would never leave my baby. And that's it. Yeah, I don't need to be with you to take care of my baby. That's never been a that's that weirdo stuff. When a man has to be with the girl to take care of his kid, that's not no man. That's a weirdo. That's a whole weird situation. I ain't gotta be with no bride to take care of my baby. For what? And I felt like we had a cool little friendship. I'll take care of the baby, and you go out and do whatever you want. I didn't care about that. That has nothing to do with me. Whatever you want to do on your time, just let me get the baby, and you go have fun for whenever. That's like even with her new baby dad. I'm not tripping. Does he treat you nice? Does the girls like him? Well, what's wrong? You know, I saved that relationship so many times. I saved it. I'd say like four times, and it's just give him a chance. Like give him a chance. Why are you being so hard on him? Is he doing all the things that he's supposed to? Well, no, and that I don't know. I mean, you can only do so much, but I mean, I feel like I'm a cool baby dad because I don't be in your business. I'm not going, you know, I'm not calling you and you know why you got that dude around my kid, and I'm not doing that. As long as my daughter likes him, I don't care. I don't care what you're doing. As long as you ain't got a whole bunch of them running in and out of the house. That's the only time I'm gonna have the issue because that's what you're showing. That's what you're showing the girls. That's is that what you really want to show the girls? No, it's not. You don't want to show the girls, or the son if you have one. For what? That's what starts the. Well, one, they can't respect you. They're not going to respect you, and they're not going to respect men or women because that's what you've showed them. It's like my daughter. My daughter has only seen, besides her mom, she's only seen one other girl that's not my wife, and that was isolated incidences where that's only for like a ride. I'm not. I wouldn't have her around my daughter because, yeah, no, she was too unstable. And yeah, so I mean, the only woman that was around her was her mom and my wife. I'm not gonna have a bunch of women around my daughter that are not gonna be there, and I know this. That's the thing. Men know when they found a woman. Period. They know when they found a wife, not just they their wife. They know. We know fast. Like I thought that was like cliche. Like it sounds cliche and all that, but no, we know when we're gonna marry you fast. Like if you're just a girlfriend or whatever. No, we know like within, I would say for sure within a month, because I was I for sure was in love with my wife before she came out. Like the first time, and she actually came to my house. I know for sure I was. Like off bat, off bat. Um, Now didn't want to say it because I didn't want to look like a I didn't want to look like a weirdo or anything. I had to make sure it was feeling both ways. I didn't want to be I didn't want to didn't want to be weird. Didn't want to scare her off. Didn't want to But I've never felt like that. I've never felt like this with anybody else. Anybody else, like the comfort level and all the things. I've never felt like this with any woman. Not even close. Not even close. It's like I gotta, yeah. I ain't gonna get into all that, but yeah, it's different when a woman can make you change without making you change, like just by the things that she says. Like that's why I really don't drink energy drinks like that. I slowly started drinking Red Bulls again, but I'm still not drinking them like that. But yeah, that's why I don't drink energy drinks anymore because she was like, "Oh, those are bad for you," blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh yeah," and just stopped drinking them. It's little things like that, and I didn't think nothing of it at first, but then it's like, yeah, no, that's a real thing. And honestly, it's important because she was looking out for my health before it was even like a thing. But I think she knew it was gonna be a thing, so she was like, let me prep them right now. But I dig it. And then she's mental too, not like crazy mental, but like she's into like the whole mind thing. Cause I'm a very mental person too. My mental's kind of different. Hers is different too. Hers is kind of blah. I dig it though. I love it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like that at times. I'm I'm like that at times. I ain't like that all the time though. But I'm like that with a good chunk. Kind of a spaz. And then too, when you can be yourself with uh with the person that you're with, that's what makes it different. Like we're doing pre-marriage counseling, and he talks about being naked with the person that you're with, and it's not like physically naked, but it's being all the way honest with them. And yeah, I'm all the way honest with her. Like I don't. Granted, I've been. Nah, I'm lying. I was gonna say I've been honest with the past. No, I haven't. I'm lying. I am lying my tail off. There's always something I was not telling them. But no, not with my girl. I'll tell her everything that's bothering me, uh, all the concerns, and all those things. Yeah, I mean to me that's very important. Like communication is like key. Like, and I understand that like on a different level now too, because like boundaries and those kinds of things are really really important. Uh, and it's funny. It's funny. So she has this thing right where nobody's really told her no, right? So because I'm a person that tells her no, it kind of throws her off because she's not used to being told no. So we'll be having a conversation. She'll ask something, and I'll be like, "Nah, oh no, that's not good." And she has this look, bro. Like it's crazy. I tell her no, right? And it's just like, and I'm like, what is she doing? What is that? And I always point it out because, like, yeah, nobody's ever told you no. I'm not going for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can try, but if it's no, it's just no. And then I mean, well, I'll wait. I'll wait a little bit, let her get her little spaz out. She don't ever say nothing. She just takes the no. But I'll explain to her why I said no. It's not just like no, I don't want to do something because of this, but there's a reason. Now we can discuss it, but I mean, I think I've only told her no maybe like 4 times. Like I'm kind of with whatever. I'm with all the shenanigans, all the hikes. Oh man, when I got off Suboxone, right? I think I was off Suboxone for maybe like some weeks, maybe like 2 weeks. And we went on this freaking hike. Oh my gosh. No, maybe it was longer than 2 weeks. I think it was maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. But I was still feeling like crap. And I didn't eat for like 10 days. And like my stomach was like, I couldn't feel my stomach. Like when I was hungry, like I just had to like eat something. We went on this hike. I forgot where, I think it's called Silver Falls or something like that. But it's a 9 mile circle, and then it's got 9 waterfalls. So you walk the whole thing, and then there's 9 waterfalls. She got mad at the end because I wanted to walk up the hill, bro. When I say that this hill kicked my butt, it was already kicked my butt because it was 9 miles. I ain't did nothing. I was just withdrawing off damn Suboxone. Oh man, they gonna go on a 9 mile hike and I ain't walked 2 blocks. Shit, man, that thing kicked my butt. But you know, it was nice. I love that she pushes me because yeah, getting off Suboxone, that stuff sucks, bro. Like, but you only gotta do it once. Because yeah, never again will I ever. I will never touch it. Well, I haven't touched opiate in some years, but Suboxone, all that. I'm good. I don't want to be addicted to nothing, like ever again. That's why I want to quit smoking because all that is a vice. You know, I don't want to be. I don't want to be bound by anything. You know, and it's I don't know. I think it's just finding something else more productive. I need to get to working out. I want my sleep schedule to get back. Yeah, I mean, even though I'm up right now at one in the morning, 2 in the morning, one. It's only 1 in the morning. But yeah, I need to get my sleep schedule back. But then I feel like I need to go to sleep earlier. Like I feel like I need to start going to sleep at like 6 because even going to sleep at like 8 is like not enough. I don't know if that really messed up my stuff, like my dopamine, and I think that's another reason why I'm so lustful is because like the dopamine, like or the lack of or whatever, however that works. But yeah, I don't know. It's something else, man. It's something else. I think people with that are on like methadone and Suboxone, there shouldn't be methadone. Methadone should not be a thing, bro. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I would never take that stuff. They tried to put me on that when I was getting off opiates, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm not getting on that. Like that's pretty much the same thing. Like y'all, granted, Suboxone is the same thing. Suboxone is an opiate, but methadone, you got to go down there every day, and then you're high. Like, and then people that get on methadone, they still use. Like, my brother was on methadone, like his whole until he died. And you know, that's another thing that's crazy. Let's get into Tristan real quick. Let's get into this crazy guy. So, I had a brother named Tristan, and I knew this fella since I was like probably like 3 or 4, and he was my neighbor. And my mom got with pops, and that's how that came about. So Tristan always had, he always had weight on him. He always had, like, he was always fat, and I want to say he got into baseball, and then he had broke. Was it his collarbone? I think it was his collarbone. I think he slid into second base and I think broke his collarbone or his shoulder. No, it had to have been his collarbone. And he went to the hospital and they noticed that he was holding fluid, right? So with him holding fluid, they were running tests, and then they found out that he had this rare kidney disease, and that he was gonna have to get on dialysis. So we get to like 16. Well, he's 16. I'm like 14, and he uh, he was doing the dialysis and stuff like that. And at 16, the doctors had called us all in, like, in a room, and they told my brother. And this is why you don't listen to doctors at all. They told my brother that he's not gonna live until he's 18. He's not gonna make it to 18. From that point, at 16 years old, my brother did drugs until he died. My brother just died like 2 years ago. When I tell you, at like 20, not even 20, I was like 17. So he's like 19, 20. He would go, like, this is when he was really, really in the street. My brother would leave, and mind you, he has dialysis, right? So he has to go and get he has to go and get his kidneys flushed every I think 2 or 3 days. My brother would leave and just be gone. I mean, granted, he was not living with us or nothing like that. I was already moved out, but he would be gone for months, like 2 to 3 months, smoking meth, gone. Like, nobody could find him. And then after like 3 months, he would go to dialysis. So he was supposed to die at 18, but at 20, 21, he can leave, or he could just be gone for 3 months, not getting dialysis nowhere, and just smoking meth and not die. How does that make sense? That does not make sense. But he's supposed to die at 18. The doctors pretty much killed my brother, because if they wouldn't have said that, he would have tried to get a new kidney. Like, he didn't care. He didn't care anymore. Like, you can't tell a kid that he's not gonna make it to being an adult. That doesn't work. How are you gonna tell a kid that they're not gonna be an adult, especially at 16? 16, we're not. Oh, we're already not caring about our life at that point. Like, that is sad to say, but, well, I know it. Me, 15, 16, I didn't care. I didn't care. So for a person that has a super rare kidney disease, and just you're at a place you don't want to be, and all these other things, what makes you think that that's okay? So he full force drugs. He did whatever he wanted. And yeah, my brother did drugs until, shit, I'm 33, so he died at, did he die at 33? I think he was 34. Yeah, Tristan died at 34. And that's another thing, he overdosed. Uh, on method, was taking methadone. Methadone did not matter. That methadone did not matter. No, methadone doesn't do anything. It keeps you high until you get higher. That's all it does. Um, And the cool part, the dude that he was with when he overdosed supposedly was his best friend. Which I don't. How is that your best friend? Like, and then in Oregon, right? Because of all the junkies and all that. If so, back in the day, if you were using drugs and somebody overdosed, somebody would get charged with murder. Now that's not a thing anymore. So if somebody's ODing and you were getting high with them, you're not gonna get in trouble. You're just gonna save their life. So for for a drug addict, for two drug addicts, and you're in another drug addict's house, and for them to let you die in their house and you not call them not call the police or the ambulance is crazy. That's crazy work, bro. Yeah, I don't see how you let my brother die like that. I seen him once. It was funny. Actually, no, I seen him a couple times, but I got close to him once. He looks terrible now. Like, at least back then, he was like taking care of himself a little bit better. I think when my brother died, he really kind of fell off. But I mean, yeah, that's tough work. But yeah, y'all have a good night. Praise the Lord.